Welcome to Emancipated Studio. Welcome my uncle, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block.
Salute, 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 salute. I just want to thank everybody because you could have been anywhere on these YouTube streets, but you decided to hang out with Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. So let me give a big shout out. Vaughn, salute to you, sir. Still keeping your wife and family up in prayer. My woman, the wisdom of the house, Natasha Vincent, salute to you. And Sir Hale Speaks is in the building. Salute to you, salute, salute. I'm going to tell y'all right now, we got an awesome conversation coming up. If you don't know anything when it comes to knowing how to cook your food, if you don't know anything when it comes to knowing how to romance yourself and someone else, I brought someone here tonight that is going to definitely show you how to do it right. So, ladies and gentlemen, when it came time for the intentional millionaire to know how to cook that romantic vegan meal, he called this man. And when Vaughn wanted to cook that romantic dinner for his wife, he called that man. And when We Ain't Signing wanted to know how to cook a romantic Chinese food for the new year, he called this man. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and only All Wings Everything.
Man, I tell you, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. What's
up, Appreciate you.
Man, I'm gonna need you to record that one. I'm about to take that one and record it. I like
that. You definitely got it. You definitely got it. I mean, you know, checking out your website, I mean, your whole YouTube page. I'm like, now, where was this brother in my 20s? I could have been romantic like a mug over here. I mean, I could do a little something now. You know, I could do a little something. You know, as they say, a man that don't work, don't eat. And I surely don't look real skinny, so I've been eating good now. Yeah, man. So how's your day going?
Oh, man, my day has been productive and blessed, man. I can't complain. I really can't. I'm doing what I love to do, man. So everything is great.
Yeah, well, you know, I know that you have a cooking channel, you know, and I know that must be big, especially during now this dynamic going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your channel? Let me see if I can pull it up here. That way I can show everybody exactly how you get down.
Okay, so well, the name of my channel is All Wings Everything. And of course, by the name, I specialize in wings. So when I started my channel, the one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be that go-to channel where people were looking for great wing recipes. So that's why I called it All Wings Everything. But since then, it has evolved into something more than just wings. You know, I pretty much cook everything, but I niched it down real small when I first started out. So that's how I came up with the name All Wings Everything.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when my son heard of you, he was like, chicken wing. Oh, he ran straight to your site. He was like, yeah, I gotta get a 20 chicken wings. He's 23. So what'd that tell you? You know. So he done been all up and down your page, you know. So he's enjoying every bit of it. So tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up at and everything else.
Well, I'm originally from Alabama. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, so I'm a Southern guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, I lived there throughout high school, and then after high school, I went off to college. Stayed in the state. I went to Huntsville, Alabama. I went up to A&M, so I'm a Bulldog. So you got into Alabama A&M Bulldogs, and you know, they know what I'm talking about. So
all right.
So I graduated. I went up there and I did. I majored in forest management. have no clue while I did that. I'm nowhere in that field. Um, as a kid, man, when you trying to figure out what you want to do with yourself and your life, and people tell you, hey man, this is, and the only reason I got into it because someone told me, say, hey, they need minorities in this field and you're guaranteed to have a job when you get out. So me not doing any research, 18, 19 years old, just went in the field. By the time I figured out I didn't want to do it, after I got around my junior year, I was like, you know what, this ain't what I want to do. But at that time I wasn't about to change my major again and all that crazy stuff. So I ended up minoring in business, added a minor in business, and then I just got on out of there, man. And so that's pretty much my childhood right there.
Let me ask you something. That's very interesting. When you say that they told you just get in this field because of your just out of race, looking back, how did that make you feel? That you was navigated to an area not because of what you may have wanted to do, but all because, okay, you black, so just do this for the easy, almost using a race card in reverse.
Right. To be honest, I can't say I felt any type of way back then. Again, I was a kid, and the only thing that you're taught or even told as a kid is go to college, get a degree. That way you can have a job and support yourself. So the main thing I was thinking about at the time is that after I graduate, I need to have some type of way to support myself. And the way this was presented, that this was going to be a way that I wouldn't have to be out there really competing to find a job. So that they were pretty much hiring you right out of college. So but again, once I got in my junior year and we started going into the forest and all that stuff, and getting, not that I can't get dirty, I don't mind getting my hands dirty, but that's
right.
what I wanted to do. So I ended up changing. I said, nah, let me get out of this. I need to do something else.
I feel you. So once you got out, what did you do after that?
It was ironic because when I graduated, well, let me go back. When I was in college, the last 2 years I was doing a work study in the human resources department. So I would go between classes and I would work in the human resource department. And I remember back then I was making like $65 a month, and I was happy. You know what I'm saying? I was happy. I mean, I can go to Popeyes and McDonald's, more than once a month. So, I'm telling you, I was happy. So by the time I graduated, I started putting my resume out. I was able to put that I worked in human resources as a work study, as a clerk rather. And when I put that on my resume, I got a call from a temp agency that was looking for. Well, I seen an ad. I take that back. I seen an ad, and I responded to the ad. They were looking for someone to like do some clerical work with like an on-site coordinator at a manufacturing facility. And so I put my resume in. They called me, and so I ended up working as like a temporary coordinator at this manufacturing facility. And while I was there, a year later, that company ended up hiring me into their HR department, and I ended up working in HR for the next 15 years, man, all the way HR clerk to HR manager. So it was really crazy how at that same company, how everything just unfolded for me. I went to school for forestry, and I ended up being a human resource manager after 15 years.
Being a human resource manager, that for me, I don't know about anybody in chat. You're the first African American male human resource manager I've ever met. I'm 54 years old, so I salute you.
Well, I think that's the reason why I stayed around. I was what you want to call token.
Okay.
So I was feeling that role that they needed, since they had so many. I was the only black guy in there.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say that my production wasn't, I wasn't producing, because I was producing.
Right.
But I also know that they needed somebody of color in that role also.
What did you learn? What is a skill? What is something that I would say people really need to understand when it comes to human resource from that perspective? Now I know we going back where today you just got to be able to beat the algorithm just to get your resume for a human resource person to even
Right.
look at it. But what is something that when you went into human resource, you see a lot of people really don't get in order to even get the first interview? What really is some of those things where people might be lacking or missing or need to know?
Meaning from an employee standpoint.
Right.
Right.
Like you being the employer, you're
Right.
in between management and finding the people to fulfill the roles. So what skills would you say people should be using today in order to get those roles in at most companies?
Um, what I noticed a lot back then is that people didn't comport themselves properly. I know when I was growing up, from an image standpoint,
Right, right.
from an image standpoint, I remember when I was growing up, and I was getting my first job. My first job was at a steakhouse called Lone Star, and when I went in and applied, I had my suit. Well, I didn't have a suit on, but I had on a shirt and a tie, and I presented and I was cut, and I presented myself a certain way. By the time when I was in the human resources, one of the first things that I noticed is that how people presented themselves to the world, and I realized how people look at us as black people, just through that experience, because
Mm,
being in human resources, being around white people, I could see how they view us. And every time somebody came, well, not every time, but when people came in that I know that was not, that I knew off the bat they were not going to get a job, just how they carried themselves. So
mm.
that's the first thing. And also being able, knowing how to communicate is a very, very important factor in getting a job. Knowing how to, number one, knowing how to listen, and that way listen effectively. That way you can answer the question properly. So these are some of the things that I've seen as a human resource manager through my human resource career that will prevent people from getting jobs. And I mean, you can also look at the resume and things like that. The resume is not filled out properly, but those are things that I think people could, you can get somebody to do that for you. But as a self improvement type thing, those are some of the things I saw.
I wanna touch that. Kevin Samuels speaks about image. You speak about image. If you brought that into today's light and you had to be 100% honest based on what you've seen so far on YouTube or even in your personal life, what does our image really look like as African American people? Is that image getting better, getting worse, or staying the same? And this is more open-ended conversation. So it's what you see because you have a background that I'm going to say 99% of my people in this chat and probably going to listen don't have.
Right. I would say I would say it's getting worse, but I would say this also just to kind of add to it. The worst part is what they put out there, because
Okay.
I can also say it's getting better because I think as I see black men waking up, and you can go certain places like Atlanta or some of these big metropolitan cities, and you can see where black men carry themselves very professionally, but that's just not the image that's being sold. So from a media standpoint, from an outlook, a person on the outside looking in, it's getting worse. But
Mhm.
I think as a whole, and I may be wrong, but I see black men trying to be better. You
Okay.
know, and I think a lot of them want to be better, but that with that negative image that they're throwing out there, it's conflicting what they want to do, and they that's all they see, and they continue to divert back to that that the nonsense. So
Let me ask you this because you said black men are getting better. What about black women? And I'm not trying to get you into a manosphere talking point. Let me get that out there real quick. I'm really asking from an image standpoint, because in order for me to build this platform, mine is about self-development. And if
Right.
I don't know what's needed as a businessman, I don't know how to solve a problem. So if I don't see the problem, I can't solve a problem. But
Right.
if I can see a problem, then I can go out and find solutions to that problem.
Hmm.
That's why I'm asking you that, not to get you on all these terminologies. It's just what you see with your experience dealing in just that key word, image.
I would say the same thing.
Okay.
That it's getting worse because the worst part of it is actually being thrown out. But I can probably take some off of that because I also think even behind closed doors that they that they're acting the same way.
Right.
Um, it's because a lot contributes to that. It's the culture that what they're telling women that what they're telling women that they should do to be women, which is really what they're telling them to do is be men. And at the end of the day, that's not what a man wants. A man doesn't want another man. If he's heterosexual, let me put it like that.
Right, right,
He
right,
doesn't he
right.
doesn't want another man. So another man with long hair and laying next in the bed with him, that's just not what he wants. So but in terms of, like I said, I think it's getting worse. I think it's getting worse. But to be fair,
Hmm.
I haven't been in the dating scene because I'm married. So
Right, right,
a lot of my experience comes from what I see online,
right,
also what I see when I'm out and about, and also through I do have family members. I have daughters that I see how they carry themselves. So but so just to be fair, I would say that too.
yeah, that's perfect. If you had to give a solution to that problem, um solution to talk to men and say a solution to talk to women, what would be your solution to better the image? Do you think that we need to say have a teaching on image and the fact of what our image may look like going into the workplace versus what it may look like overseas versus what it just looks like in day-to-day life?
Um, say that again. Let me make
Sure.
sure I get it right.
When I'm thinking of image, I'm thinking of various places where our image is, whether that's our image when we're going into the workplace, how
Hmm.
do we look
Hmm.
versus how we're looking in our own community. And when I
Hmm.
say our own community, meaning, um, if you're in the white community, if you're in the black community, or if you're in a diverse community. Um, let's forget mass media for the moment, because on one side of mass media, we don't control. But
Hmm.
the beauty of YouTube is we're supposed to be controlling our own narrative. We're supposed
Right.
to have our own voice, and we're supposed to be controlling our own image.
Hmm.
So it's what your experience that you have seen. How can we begin to fix the image in the areas we can control? Technically, we can't control what MSNBC, CBS, we
Hmm.
can't control that,
Right.
but we can
Well,
control us.
yeah. I mean, I see it happening here on YouTube. Starting with people like Kevin Samuels, who is a big advocate of men, you know, take a big advocate of taking back our control of our own self image. So I think it starts there, where with people like him and
Mhm.
others who follow that same lead, where young men today can have somebody to look up to. I think it starts there, and I think in the same thing with women, it seems a little different because I mean, men have to live in a reality. You know what I'm saying? We have to live in a reality. Nobody is. There's no rainbows and things like that. You can't put blinders in front of our eyes. They don't do that. We're told that either you're gonna be somebody or you're not gonna be anybody, and they're gonna treat you like that. With women, it's different because they are they are told that I mean, they don't have to accept accountability. You know, they have the reign to just overlook it. So it's different. I can't really say how a woman could how they could fix that issue because I'm not a woman. But
Right.
the one thing I can say is that at some point accountability has come into play, and I think that's the first thing that needs to happen is that they have to take accountability.
Okay. Let's go back to men. Because you own your own business. And how has that been for you? You know, now that you own your own business, how did you transition from, you know, successfully working in human resource to deciding I want to own my own business? How did that transition take place?
So okay, so after doing 15 years in human resources, I just got tired of the corporate life, the 9 to 5. Human resources can be very draining, and so I had saved money up in my 401k, and I decided what I wanted to do is I wanted to open a restaurant, and that's another thing that as back then, that even as Black people, we have to stop thinking that all we can do is open restaurants and barbershops and things of that nature
Mm,
when those are more like liabilities than they are assets. And and even when I look back now, I wish I would have did something different. But with my money, not wishing that I'm glad where I'm at now, where it led me. But as from an investment standpoint, I wish I would have did something different. But however, so I ended up opening up a restaurant, and it was a wing spot. It was called Metro Wings, and I actually, to be honest, what I opened it up in Dominican Republic.
okay.
Um, so I started there, and after about a year, I ended up closing it down, and I moved back to I closed it down for various reasons. It's just one thing that I realized is that you can have this bright idea, but when you go somewhere, you have to know exactly what the culture is like, and most of them, they on their rice and beans. So to try to educate them to what lemon pepper wings are, it's it's just that you got to put some marketing dollars behind that. Now, if I was to do that different now,
Right.
I would go to a tourist area where I don't have to educate them. Because if you're walking down the beach and say Punta Cana or even Cancun, and you see something say Metro Wings, it already registers with you. With tourists like like from Europe and Canada and United States, I don't have to market that to you. You're like, oh yeah. So when I shut that down and I came back to the States, and one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to get back into corporate America, but of course I did have to get back in. But what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to get back into human resources and get back into being responsible for individuals. So I kind of got into doing some light recruiting. That way I was just able to take care, worry about my little bubble. And then once I was finished at 5 o'clock, I didn't have to stay and worry
Right.
about anybody. I was going home to work on my business. And my first thing what I did is I wanted to get into I wanted to figure out how to make money online, and I started that by getting into affiliate marketing and drop shipping.
Mm,
And so I opened up about 3 or 4 Shopify stores. Two of them did well. The other ones didn't. But what I noticed is that when you drop ship, you're sourcing from China, so you never know what the product is going to look like once it gets to the customer. So I wasn't touching any of the product. So sometimes I was getting a lot of customer complaints because they would say, "Hey, this is not this is not what it looks like on the website." So it just became a headache. So I got out of that. I said, you know what, I don't even want to deal with that anymore, and I
right.
need to find another way that I want to, that I need to make some money. And I had already was thinking about YouTube prior to that in 2016. But one of the things I did want to do it, I didn't want to get on camera. I was like, I don't want to be on camera. I'm from the old school. We don't want
Right.
camera pushed in our face, man.
Right.
And so by that time, I was like, once I was finished drop shipping, and I said, you know what, I got to do something. So I say, well, I had a restaurant. Maybe I can start a YouTube channel on cooking. I had 21 flavor wings, so I already got 21 videos
Right.
already in the can. And to be honest, I wouldn't say that I got into it and I wasn't expecting any good results, but I was kind of just on the fence. It was like, okay, just let me give it a shot. Because I don't do anything with the expectation to fail, but I just wasn't expecting, really high results in the beginning. So I ended up starting it back in 2018 in October, and so I grew it from, my first year it took me a year to grow up, get about 1,000 subscribers. The second year, I did another 9,000. So by the end of my second year, I was at 10,000. And last year, I grew 40,000. So about 43,000. So right now, I'm up to around 50. I think I'm at 57,000
You're
now.
at 57 when I checked this morning. Yeah,
Right.
you ain't no little YouTuber. The reason I'm gonna show you his post, he is working in China right now. So he was saying, facts, restaurant profit margin are pretty slim, and the inventory management can kill you. So yeah. What made you go to Dominican Republic? I have another question, but I wanted to kind of veer back. Like, how in the world did you go from being in Alabama to even thinking about Dominican Republic?
Right. Okay. Let me answer that question real
Okay.
quick. You were
All
talking
right.
about the profit margin. And he's right. The profit margins are slim. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that I did when I started the restaurant. Before I brought it over here, I was doing research. Okay, I was saying, okay, chicken costs XYZ. So if chicken costs XYZ, I don't have to. I can sell it for ABC, and this is my profit.
Right.
And you're not and the only thing you're talking about is chicken, and I'm not looking at the big picture where, okay, what about the napkins, what about the sauces, what about the seasonings? All these little things cost money. You got to add into your cost.
Right.
So he's right, when I started looking at the profit margins for the work that you were doing, it's really not there. And right before I shut it down, I had an investor over here who wanted to franchise it, and he wanted to franchise and open about 12 more over here on the island. I initially went in to do it, but then I backed out because the commitment that they was looking for me, I wasn't willing to do the commitment. So I would have to be here on the island for X amount of time without leaving. And I get it. If they're putting that money in there, then they wanted to make sure that I was going to be there, that I wasn't going to take off and just go somewhere. Not that I wasn't coming back, but they want to make sure that I'm watching their money. So at the time, I just wasn't really ready for that commitment, and didn't want to continue in the restaurant business. So, but to answer your question, how did I get to Dominican Republic?
Mhm.
Of course, my wife is Dominican,
Right.
and but I I enjoyed it. I like the Dominican Republic. I like the culture.
Mhm.
I like the lifestyle. I like the island. I just like everything about it, man. So I wanted to open up a business internationally.
Okay.
So that's how I got over here.
That's awesome. So let's go back. A young man looking at this, matter of fact, any man looking at this platform right now, they say, you know what, I want to go into business. And one thing me and a couple of others that has talked about, the difference between having a hobby and having a business. And I was having a conversation with my partner, Intentional Millionaire, and I said, one of the most frustrating things is I want to keep the money with my people, but the problem is every time I ask for service, either they don't have it or they don't get back to you.
Mhm.
And he said that's because more people got an LLC and operating as a hobby than they have an LLC and operating as a business. Can you
Mhm.
relate to that as you being in business?
If I understand what you're saying, I will answer it this way. With my business, I found myself working in my business than on my business. Uh,
Mm,
and as an entrepreneur, that's not, as a business owner, that's not what you want to do. I found myself working in the business that own the business, instead of delegate and hiring people to do and hiring and training people to do what you need them to do. I wasn't confident enough to trust anybody to to make my sauces and and run the restaurant. I was always there. So I ended that's one thing I won't do again. And I'll tell anybody, when you start especially a restaurant business, and I would, I could probably say this is for, a majority of businesses, that make your plan with you not in the business. Because if you're not there, if your business is based on you being there, then you just bought yourself an expensive job. And that's exactly what I did. I bought myself an expensive job. I left a job to end up working more hours for myself. And that's not really what I was looking to do. And it was funny because I remember one day when I was over there and I was scouting places, and I was out on one of these in this shopping center, and these Italian guys, they all had their businesses sitting there in the line, and they would just sit there and drink beer. And I was sitting there like, you know what, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy me a restaurant, and I'm gonna put it up, and I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna sit on my patio on my terrace, and I'm gonna drink beer while the customers come. That was nothing like what I did.
But you said something and that I like, and I want to try to get even a deep dive into that mindset, which is having that type of a business mind where, as you said earlier, there's a difference between working in your business and training people up to work the business for you, where you're not doing it. So for myself, people in the chat, people that's going to listen afterwards, can you go through that understanding of what people really need to know about starting a business, running a business, and kind of what the objective should be versus maybe the image of what we have? In other words, the false image of, I start a business, I'm gonna make this profit, and I'm gonna do all this other great stuff, versus I started a business, but all I got is an expensive job. I don't really have a business.
Right. I mean, the first thing you got to do, you don't want to look at it, stop thinking it's a vanity project. It sounds good. I got my own business. I got my own restaurant. I got my own, I got my own bar and all this. That's not what it's for. And one thing you have to do, you have to make sure that you understand your business that you're in, and you want to understand it. You want to understand the customer, your customer base, and really, really nail down what is actually going to cost for you to run this business. How much profit are you going to make? And then you have to determine, is it really worth, and how much time you're going to have to dedicate to it, and is it worth your time to do it? And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think of any of that. I like I told you, I just thought that wings were selling for $1 for a pack. I figured I could sell that pack for $20, and I was gonna be okay. And it just doesn't work like that. It's so many other variables, and it just depends on what business it is. But with the restaurant business, it's so many other variables that come into play. Like I say, from labor to to your accessories. I mean, even all the way to you stocking your bathroom with toilet paper and soap and things. Never thought about any of this stuff. Mops, Clorox to clean the floors. Grease that you have to keep replenishing over and over. It's just so many different things that you have to make sure that you're aware of. Now, don't get me wrong, some things you're gonna miss, but you need to really, really do a deep dive in what it really takes to run a restaurant or whatever business you're in.
What would be some of your, would you say that some of this can be done via by book, or is it something that we just got to go in and kind of figure it out as we go? How do we transition there?
Well, I think it's too much a big investment for to try to build a plane while you're flying.
Okay.
So I mean, some things, like I say, some things you're not gonna be able to figure out in ahead of time.
Right.
But as much as possible, maybe get a mentor, somebody that who has done it, that can kind of put you on game and tell you some of the pitfalls that you may encounter on your way. Books, that works, but you need something more reality based, something more reality based where you can really get an idea. Books typically just kind of give you a framework uh,
Right.
and some best practices,
Right.
but and which are helpful when you start to encounter some of these things, but also real life experiences from people who actually did it is better at some
Yeah.
point.
No. Do you think this? And I'm gonna definitely open up the chat because I got three people in this chat right now that I know they on fire to get up here. Um, my question would be, when you now, from a businessman, when you look at YouTube, um, TLA has always said, older men get into this, do YouTube. You got a lot of knowledge, you got a lot of wisdom to drop on young people. But one thing that I've always heard from O'Shea Jackson is too many people do not treat this as a business. TLA just came out with the course. Then you had people that argued against him coming out the course. Like, how you gonna come out with a course and tell people they can make this kind of money and yada yada yada? Is it that people is missing how YouTube operates as a business and they still trying to operate it as a, I'm gonna use the term hobby because that's kind of stuck in my head, although
Mhm.
that's not your words. Um, what do you think is missing when people come onto YouTube and just start a platform? Do they really take it seriously as a business, or they just really ignorant about how platforms work?
Um,
I hope my
both.
question is clear.
Yeah, both. I think that typically when there's a low barrier to entry to certain things, people don't, they don't see the value in it. And starting a YouTube channel, there's a low barrier entry. I mean, you got a phone, you got a laptop, you got a microphone, you get on there, and so they don't think that um, they don't see the seriousness in it because they don't see where they have anything to lose. For me, I,
Mm,
I took it serious from the beginning, because one of my, like I told you, one of my things, I was already working in corporate America. I did 15 years. I made the money. I just wanted to get out of corporate, transition out of corporate America and do something on my own. So I couldn't step out of that. I walked away from that to um, online digital marketing, which I'll say YouTube is some digital marketing. But yeah, I walked away from that. So when I walked away from that, I had to take it serious.
right.
I couldn't play around with it. So yeah, I agree. I seen O'Shea. I heard. Watched the video where O'Shea said that, and he's 100% right. Some people just get in it and they think because it's entertainment, they don't see the work it takes for um, the background work, what it takes to even just construct a video, put it together, edit, the research, the time. And like I say, you can go on my channel, you can watch an 8-minute video, but it took me 3 hours to do it. Maybe 3 or 4 hours, the whole process, set up, tear down, editing, music, all that, so I mean, I don't, some people that get on and they could just live stream and it's easier for them. They don't have to do any editing. And I guess that's why they probably take it as, they don't take it as serious. But if you did what I did every day, well, not every day, but if you did what I did making a video, you'll take it serious.
Yeah. I do more videos. I will even say that I'm doing more reading than I feel like I'm back in college when it comes to reading again. But when you're trying to do the research, put it all together, and then you have to turn around. And what's really missing is, how do you take print and make it visual?
Right,
People
right,
don't understand there's a total different beast in doing digital marketing and video, and then keeping the interest, knowing what YouTube is really looking for, knowing, in order, once you get a certain level, YouTube is no longer looking for one type of number, they're looking for a whole nother number. And if you
hmm
can't give them that number, they really don't care about the other numbers,
right.
you know. um and you're right. People get on YouTube and they're doing a whole lot of talking and think that's it, without really understanding again what is YouTube as a whole. In that regards, that you could talk and give your opinion all day long, but
Right.
opinion without facts
Right.
is a waste. It is a waste. You spoke about digital marketing. Do you feel that people need to be studying what digital marketing is so that they really understand at least a part of what YouTube or TikTok or any of these other, as they would define it, social media platforms is? Or is digital marketing something totally different than, say, doing the entertainment or the education side of YouTube?
I think it's helpful. It can be definitely a big piece depending on what type of content you're doing. Even even with a YouTube channel, if you want to run ads to your YouTube videos, digital marketing helps. Like I say, when I first started, I was I built Shopify stores. I started affiliate marketing, so I understood the basic concepts of digital marketing. It really helped me in even start my YouTube channel. Um, I applied some of those principles, but like I say, some of it is got a little bit different because even when I started YouTube, I didn't really understand what the platform wanted from me. And
Mhm.
what I mean when I say that is because I'm thinking, okay, I got all these wing recipes, I got all these wing ideas, so I'm gonna make some just crazy name wings, and they're gonna flock to it. So I'm gonna make this Mama Sita wing, and people gonna click on it, and they're gonna love it, and this and that, and Mama Sita. No, who's on YouTube in the search engine typing how to make Mama Sita wings or how to
Right.
make such and such. And what I realized is that you got to give YouTube what they want, and what they want is whatever the searcher or the viewer wants. And
Mhm.
I quickly realized that, and because people say, "Hey, make a fried chicken recipe," I'm like, "What? Why don't I want to make fried chicken? Everybody knows how to make fried chicken, you
Right.
know." Why? But sure enough, I made a fried chicken video, and it did good. And I'm like, "Wow." I mean, this is what people want. I mean, this simple stuff. I'm thinking people want something exotic, something that they hadn't heard of. No, people want what they want. They want the simple stuff. Don't try to overthink it. Give them what they want, especially in the beginning. When you're first starting out, you have to give
Mhm.
them what they want because you don't have a fan base to kind of veer off and do whatever you want to do. So you want to give them what the search engines are telling you that they're looking for. So that means you have to go and you have to do research. You need to go look at Tube, but you need to buy Tube, but don't take the free version, get the paid version. Get vidIQ, get our SEM brush. All these different things. These tools I was using to teach me how to SEO my videos. That way I get better. So now, I can pretty much, and I can't say I can put out any, I'm not a real huge YouTuber, but now I can
Right.
kind of veer off and do certain things where, I have a subscriber base that's going to watch my videos now. But before then, I had to make what the viewer wanted to see. And so, that's what I did. So I think that's what people are missing. They want to come in, they want to give their opinion and all this, but nobody cares about your opinion. In the beginning, you have to, they care about your opinion, but is it on something that they want to that they want to talk or they want to hear about? Was what I'm trying to say.
Now, I like the fact that you dropped the jewels because as my partner would say, that's a mic drop, and you've been dropping jewels this whole time. In other words, stop always fighting to get the free stuff. Sometimes you got to put money to get what you need.
Oh yeah.
So make sure you put money into TuneBuddy, put money into vidIQ. Stop always trying to get free stuff. Stop always trying to get the hookup. As you began to develop, did you recognize that sometimes you had to pay for information versus trying to find everybody's video that can get you answers for everything?
Um, I did both. Certain people that were on YouTube that I would follow that I thought that were real, that was giving genuine information on how to grow your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And if that individual had a course, guess what? I bought it. I bought it. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars, on information to how to
Right.
grow YouTube channels, how to do SEO and things of that nature. So yeah, I don't believe in always expecting it, something for free. And me personally, I don't mind paying for. Like say, we know each other through TLA's
Right.
Patreon. I'm a
Right.
patron of TLA. I mean,
Right.
think about that. Not he's a YouTuber, but I'm in there because I know that I can probably get some type of gem from TLA. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I don't mind paying for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind paying for that. If it's going to help me, I remember him saying one time, he said, if I can get a fraction, if I look at things in increments, I think the way he said it. And
Right.
if I can get just a fraction of growth off of information, then I'm all in, and that's just how I am, man. If he can give me some type of jewel, I don't mind paying for it.
Right. I believe everything is set up. I have a Patreon now, and anybody that wants to join that Patreon, my Patreon is only $10. So I'm telling y'all now, get in because it's men like, all wings and everything. There are things that he can teach behind the scenes he cannot teach on this platform. There are people that I'm connecting with behind the scenes that's going to be in that Patreon that can give you knowledge and wisdom that sometimes you can't get on YouTube. There are certain conversations you can't get on YouTube. Why? Because we get shut down. We'll get shut down. Salute. Thinking Man Podcast about to be here in a couple of days. I'm telling you, I'm bringing you the best of men on this platform. I'm even bringing you the best of women on this platform. And then there's certain conversations that they would love to have. But guess what? Sometimes we got to do it on a different platform. So, invest in that Patreon. It's not about buying a new Cadillac. It takes money to make money. People don't understand. I have a decent operating cost. Every book I got to buy, that costs me money. Every research I got to do, that costs me money. So what I do is it costs money. So in order for me to pay and get these better outcomes to give them exactly what they want, it costs money. I don't think everybody really understands the cost of making your life easier. When you're cooking, you're making my life easy because I ain't got to cook. You understand what I'm saying? When
Right.
you're doing a recipe and you showing me how to do it step by step by step, that's saving me time to know how to do it.
Right.
You're bringing that experience to the screen. If you got time, I'm about to drop the link and give anybody, a shot to come and talk to you. Now, look, I want everybody to know, you tell TLA, he may have Jessica X, but we're going to see if y'all can figure out who this voice is.
Welcome to the Emancipated Studio, where
Can you
you
hear
are
that?
welcome to engage with guests and the panel. Please stay on topic and be respectful to our guests and panel. Be sure to have your camera on while in the back of the studio so that you may be verified by Uncle Stu, and then you may turn your camera off while participating on the panel. You have given up all rights to any footage and clips which can be used by Uncle Stu and his staff. Now please hit the link again and welcome to Uncle Stu's Emancipated Studio.
See, I ain't about to let TLA punk me out.
That's nice there. That's nice.
Yeah. I gotta let people know, like, you're not just investing and I'm getting ready to buy a new Cadillac, I have to put that back into the studio. I have to put that back in production because I need everybody to know, like, hey, we doing this thing. We are doing it. We're not just building as we flying, but it's like I'm trying not to make mistakes and I'm trying to learn. We ain't signing. That's why That's my overseas marketing dude. But if he says, nah, Unc, I think you need to do this, I'm listening. Like, okay, now I got to do research to do this. You said something, and my overarching business is Stu One International Network, because I don't want to just try to hang out with the 13%. I want to get that global money.
Right, right,
I want to be able to talk to everybody. Why?
right,
Because the more people I can help here, I can't help if I'm only going after 30% of the market. I
right,
can help when I'm going after that 90%.
right.
We ain't signing. What's up, my brother?
Hey, gentlemen, how are you? Uncle Stu, good morning or good afternoon. What, I don't know. Good evening to you, I guess, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah. It's
on a 12-hour time zone. So
yeah, it's about
anything you
nine
say is
o'clock.
no point.
Yeah, well, because today I have a day off because it's the Chinese New Year. Well, yesterday was the first day of the Chinese New Year, and today is the second day. So happy Chinese New Year for the folks that celebrate it. But Uncle Stu, I want to say thank you for bringing this man on because um, a lot of things that he said was dropping gems, and I think that the Black community definitely needs to hear this because when we're talking about business, this is just my personal opinion. When we're talking about business, as far as finance go, I think Black community are experts. You got the intentional millionaire, you got Perry Unlikely when we're talking about finance, but when we're talking about business, operations, and marketing, I still think we have a long way to go. Because, like he said, like with restaurants, hairs, barbershops, those are kind of the immediate places we go when we want to try to build businesses instead of e-commerce, like he said, or taking your business abroad. So I guess my first question would be: is that could you describe some of the happiness or the joy or the achievements that you have done, like being in business abroad? Because I also have business abroad, and I think a lot more Black people need to do business abroad, especially with the benefit of being American, and that American passport helps you do a lot of things. So can you just talk about some of the good experiences you have about being a business owner abroad? Because I think people like you and me are so far and few between that it's hard for people to register. So if you could just kind of talk about some of your good experiences or bad, whatever you want to share, but just some of your good experience about being abroad and just having a business and things like that.
Um, I could say that it was actually all good experiences, to be honest with you. Yeah, there were some bad sprinkled here and there, and it was all because of some of the things that I wasn't aware of. And I can tell you one thing that I would tell people that was my one of my number one mistakes I made is that when I initially got my location, typically abroad they want you to pay in dollars. They negotiate, they talk dollars with you. And one of the problems I did was I negotiated my rent in dollars while I was being paid in pesos. And not and I know you'll be thinking, now that is crazy. And you should have known that. Yeah, I should have known that. But the way the dollar, so every month I was paying more in rent, but I'm getting my money was getting paid in pesos. So the people that was coming and patronizing my restaurant was paying me in pesos. I was paying rent in dollars. That hurt me. So every month I was paying a little bit extra in rent. So if my rent was $1,200, then every month I may be paying like 1235 next month
Yeah,
because the dollar kept rising. So you always
right.
want to make sure that you negotiate in the local currency.
Right. So, but what were some of the good experiences that you have, like being abroad, having a business that maybe you couldn't get back home?
Well, the good experience is that opening a business over here, especially here in Dominican Republic, is that you don't have to go through all the red tape like in the States. There's
Right.
no health department, and there's no fire code. I know some people say, well, no health department. Yeah, but yeah, I know you're thinking about that, but you don't have to go through all that red tape. You don't really even have to get a business license. You can just find your spot, open it up, and you can start servicing customers depending on where you have that business located. So, but where mine was located, it was in a really great area. Actually, it was on a college campus. And so it was
sorry. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. I have to go to the door. Just give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
One of the things you say was I also need everybody to understand that my Patreon is going to be more set up towards really teaching people business, getting them to understand business, getting them to understand marketing. He's right. My other two partners, if you want to learn about investment, you go to them. You know, you want to learn how to trade in crypto, buy real estate, you go to them. But my focus is on business, especially just trying to get it off the ground, trying to have a business mind, trying to be a better organizer, you know, and I surround myself with business people so that people can understand, stop treating what you have and being an employee and learn how to operate it and buy back your time and live, because you're not doing that at all. You know, I work hard to get this platform off the ground so that I can go to China and not have to worry about my platform.
Right. I'm sorry. Please continue. Sorry about that.
You're back. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think I was just saying that, you know, you don't have to go through so much red tape, you know, to start a business. So that was a good experience for me. So I was able to just, you know, come in, do my thing, you know, get everything set up and just start operating like that. So that was a good experience.
Right. And your clientele doesn't care that you're black. You don't even have to think about those kind of things. Like, are they going to buy from me because I'm black or this and that?
Oh no. None of those issues. No issues with race. You know, here, you know, just my experience just being here, I don't have those concerns in terms of, you know, when it comes to race. You know, I'm out and about. One thing I like about Dominican Republic is that, you know, the people here, they all look like us. You know, 85% of the country is black. You know, you will get people that say, yeah, but they are, you know, they have this ongoing issue with Haitians, but you know, that's not a race issue. That's just a culture issue. That's because they share the same island and they have this history. It doesn't have anything to do with race. You got some Dominicans that's just as dark as Haitians. It's not a race thing. And is it racism? Of course you're gonna find something, but I don't, you know, when I'm out, I don't, when the police stop me, I don't have to worry about anything about you know, feeling threatened on my life. You know, their hand is not on their gun. You know, matter of fact, if they pull me over and, you know, which they rarely do, but if they do, hey, you know, hey, you had something to eat? Nah, okay, here go 100 pesos. Go get you something to eat, and I'm on my way. You know, 100 pesos is $2. You know, I give them I give a police $2. You know, over a bullet any day. You know what I'm saying? You know, you know what I'm saying? So, but no, I don't have those problems, man. I don't have those problems.
And I just want to say one more thing, then I'll pass the mic, because basically, or I have one more question, I'll pass the mic. Basically, in I think like 2014, I live in Shanghai, and I work for a marketing firm, and our job is to bring American brands over to China. And one of our clients was Subway. And so what my job was to get distributors, or well, just not distributors, but get people to buy the franchise in Subway and pick the different locations around China, actually, to you know, to set up the little restaurants and stores, right? And so you're right, like I saw like the profit margins was like 20%, because when I first wanted to go in business, I wanted to do the restaurant thing. So I'm saying that all to say this: if you were to like talk to the younger aspiring entrepreneurs, what would you say would be a good business moving forward in the 2022 2023 area, right? That's not so traditional as a barbershop or a restaurant or something like that, things that we are traditionally in. What would you recommend as far as that? Even if it's YouTube and things like that, what would you think would be kind of good areas to like start a business?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would probably say that because there's so many different answers for that question because there's a lot of great businesses, but I would definitely say any business where you can make money online and it's a global business where you can get money from all over the country. And YouTube, like I say, YouTube is one of them.
Yep.
Where we get views from all over the country. So any business where you're able to make money online where you don't necessarily have to have a brick and mortar, I think is, I would start there.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. So I'll pass the mic with that. But I do want to say one thing, Perry. You are welcome here anytime. You are not there. You are not there. So, but yeah, I mean, I thank you, man. I appreciate it because I am going to do a YouTube and I want to be like food based, but I want to be related to food based and weight loss because I lost a lot of weight by changing my diets and things like that. So I'm looking forward to do the same thing like that. So I just subscribed to your channel. Thank you, Uncle
Appreciate
Stu,
that.
and I'll pass the mic.
Yep, you definitely welcome. That's an inside joke. Perry Unlikely is my crypto investor.
Mhm.
But he hearing me every once in a while. He kind of go off cold. So we ain't signing. Sometimes got to fly in and take his card from him. He be going off cold sometimes. Mr. Vaughn.
Hey, what's going on, Uncle Stu?
Doing well, sir.
How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Good to see you working as usual. You're the hardest working man on YouTube.
Look, according to him, I ain't supposed to be working this hard. I'm supposed to be relaxing right now.
Well, there's an inside joke to this, and I'm sure Wally and Gail probably knows. But when I saw the title of all wings, everything, I was automatically interested. Because I love a good wing. You know what I'm saying? I hear an echo. Is it me or someone else?
Might be you because nobody else was echoing until.
Am I still echoing?
This sounds good now.
It sounds good now. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but all wings, everything. Man, let me tell you, I love a good wing. And if you can put a twist on there and do something unique with it, because I always say, you can cook chicken 100 different ways, and so it is with the wing. And so I do have a passion for the wing. I'm not ashamed to say that. I just believe that done properly, it's awesome. And then it's a little bite of meat. It's not a whole bunch of meat, so you can have several.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you ate the whole chicken, but kind of makes you feel like you ate a bunch of shit. But I'm joking. But I'm just on here to tell the brother that I appreciate what he's doing. I will be subscribing to your channel because my wife is a good cook, and I'm pretty sure some of them recipes that you have, according to some of the pictures that I've seen, I'm sure that I would try to invite her to those. But I just want to encourage you, man. It's just good to see us doing good things, and your business is abroad, right? You said that where are you at doing your business?
I'm in Dominican Republic.
Okay, so that's very different from being here, right? So the way that they do their business ethic and all of that is totally different. And so that international aspect of business, I appreciate, you probably could sell here and there and anywhere. So, I believe that it's going to be international for you, brother. And I just wish you all the success. And I just hopped on here to say that. Uncle Stu, much love for you, man.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to tell you, he already has an international business because he's not doing business in America. There's something else that he said that a lot of people don't understand.
I
He
missed
said,
it.
I don't have a whole lot of regulations. And a lot of people don't understand that is a huge, huge thing here in America. It is the regulations.
Right.
You know, just for me to get my business started, you know, you already had to have the tax ID from the federal. Then you got to have the local, you know, then you got to have this license and this then you got to know the law for this and the law for that. There's so much that you got to get through just for me to have a legitimate business.
That's awesome.
And that's how you can recognize when people say, like he made it real clear, people don't spend money and run a business. They may have a platform and they may say certain things, but the people that's really doing business knows whether you really running a business because of the sacrifice. A lot of people that's in business that really understood the quote Tasha K incident, you know, you can listen and more people understood it from a business standpoint. Listen to the commentary. Those that understood it from a business looked at it one way. Those that just wanted to talk looked at it a whole different way. Everybody that was in business said, oh, she just got $4,000 of free marketing. They saw the business. Everybody else, oh, she lost the money. Everybody else said, nah, her name is now all over on top of YouTube.
Wow.
Her name got on the Breakfast Club.
Wow.
She just got $4 million worth of free marketing.
Yeah.
Really? Wow, ain't that something? And,
yeah, but I kind of agree. I don't know if he agrees with me, but you know, we always were taught that kind of American dream. But when you travel abroad, you see that you can achieve that American dream easier, especially in developing countries, right? Not quite first world, but developing countries. Capital is lower. Like he said, like entry into market is lower. You don't need to go through a lot of red tape. Things are less regulated.
Labor,
and, you know, right? So a lot of times, you know, you put a little bit money in and you can get a lot of money out. Because I don't do Shopify. I do what we call WeChat stores, because I sell it's the same, but it's just for China, right? Because I sell products here in China, and eventually I'll spread out all over Asia. But you know, my plan is, before I sell like in the big four, you know, Canada, US, Australia, and the UK, I want to kind of attack the Asian countries, the smaller countries first, and then, you know, hit the big four. Because right now my business is doing very well just in China, right? But it's the second largest economy now, but when I first started, it was still developed, you know, still a developing country.
Right.
And people need to understand that a lot of times when you want to talk about generational wealth is more often than not now is outside of the US, right? And you don't need to travel to be outside of the US because of Shopify, because of other things, right? But a lot of I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but a lot of generational wealth, or a lot of generational wealth opportunities, are now abroad. So I'm just really happy and excited that, you know, we have other people, other Black men that are doing things abroad. Like, how long have you lived abroad?
I actually moved over here almost about a year ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You miss the US?
No, not at all.
Awesome. Wow.
Look, I gotta go there. Y'all ready? I gotta go there. So you mean to tell me, you know, that you're not in a country where everybody gotta wash their clothes in the river?
Huh? No, I don't do that.
You mean to tell me you're not in a country where everybody just wanna get married to you, to get a green card, to come to America? I mean, that's what I was told. Now I done traveled, but you know, I just gotta ask.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say, but nah. My lights come on. I have lights 24 hours a day. I got one thing I can say: we don't have good drinking water, so I do have to order water. But other than that, I feel like I'm right in this. I feel like I'm back in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, same.
Wow.
Same. You can't drink the water here either. You have to order it. But yeah, you can shower in it, but you can't drink it.
Right.
So
Right.
so let me ask the question, and maybe I missed this earlier. Maybe you mentioned something about this earlier, but with the business that you do have, do you plan to expand that business, or have you expanded it? And what do you have in the making as far as expansion? And maybe I missed that. Maybe you answered that earlier, but I probably missed it.
Well, no, what I said was I used to have a brick and mortar restaurant. So I no longer have that restaurant not over here now. So what I do now, I just operate my YouTube channel from here.
Okay.
But I'm also investing. I bought up. Well, I'm not saying I bought up, but I bought me some land. I have about 2 pieces of land that I've purchased. I have invested in a plantain farm, so I have a plantain farm where I grow my own plantains. So
Oh,
you know, so those are the businesses that I'm invested in now. And like I say, another reason you asked me why I come over here, because when I was living in Fort Lauderdale, I've lived for a little bit about a third of what it took me to live in Florida. So I've reduced my cost, my expenses, and I'm able to invest in other things like We Ain't Signing was saying. Generational wealth now is you can start doing it overseas. You know, the amount of what I was paying over in Florida, it just really didn't leave you enough to even invest in what you need to invest in. You spending $5,000 a month just to live. Here, I'm if I told you, you wouldn't believe me, what it cost me to live here, a little over 1,000. And that's because I want certain things, but I can find a nice place if I wanted to and spend about $500, and I'd be okay on rent a month, and I'd be in a nice place. But right now, I live in I wanted some of the, I wanted the good life, so I got to be a penthouse. So you know
I think everybody missed it. Can you go back about the farm? Because I also did the same. I brought a chicken farm in Kenya. So can you talk a
yeah.
little bit about that? Because people don't know Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of my farmland right now. So can you touch on that?
Yeah, so my wife family has had some land. So what we did was we took the land and cultivated it, and we planted plantains. So which platano is a big industry here. If you know anything about Dominicans, they love
Dominican,
platano.
Puerto Rican,
Right.
Cuban.
You
I'm
know,
from New York, so I got it. I understand.
Right. So platano is a thing. So we grew platano, and we did cubanella peppers. And so right now we did our second cut of plantains last about 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago. So we go straight from the farm straight to the market, sell it, and
Sold out every time, right? Sold
say it
out every
again.
day. And you sell out every time you go to the market,
Oh
right?
yeah,
You sell
every
out.
time. Yeah, I don't come back with nothing. No, I'm not coming back with nothing.
Yeah,
Every
same
time I
thing.
do a
Because
cut.
yeah, like people got to know, man, food is recession proof, especially when you go from like farm to table.
Exactly.
You sell out every time, every time.
Yeah, you're right. That is. I heard somebody else say that food is recession proof. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
well,
The
yeah.
only,
well, here's
the
my,
only
here's
thing
my,
you have to watch is you got to watch those market prices, and that what I could say it
Yeah,
fluctuates pretty. It's a kind of a up and down thing here. So depending on when you're gonna cut, like I say, I could cut 1 week and the prices can be very high. If I waited that next week and cut, it can be low, and I could possibly either break even or lose a little bit of money. So you got to always kind of time the market here when you start harvesting.
yeah, yeah. Well, I do eggs, so it's a little bit different, right? When the eggs come out, you got to sell it, right? It comes out the chicken, you got to sell it.
Right.
So,
okay.
but
So
yeah,
now, okay. So now let's talk about some of these recipes just for 2 seconds, if we could.
Okay.
Would that be a problem, sir?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Because I noticed the pictures. I went to your site really quickly, and I liked what I saw. I didn't even get to open it up real good, but I said that looks good and that looks good. So, so out of the recipes that you do, what do you think are the most popular?
My highest recipe is my honey garlic wings.
Honey garlic wing. Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's good. It's got to be a business aspect of it, but then it's got to be also the product itself, right?
Right,
And
right.
so it looks like you're producing a very good product when it comes to these wings. So
And
yeah.
one thing is good about this particular this type of niche in the cooking niche is that it's evergreen content. So
Mhm.
people are always searching. Like my catalog is really really does me well. My
Awesome.
catalog, it gets views and views and views and views. Like when if I drop
Awesome.
a video at the initially, it takes some time to get up to over 1,000, maybe a day or two to get over 1,000
Hmm.
to 2,000. But my
But you get it.
catalog is always pumping, always.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Now, the method that you do your wings, are you doing them on the grill sometimes? Are you doing them in the oven sometimes? Are you doing them on the stove? And then my last question is about the air fryer,
Right.
because I
Right.
just recently got introduced to that. So that.
So in terms of the style, I do them always, but mainly bacon. I kind of stay away from fried.
Yeah, baking
Especially when I started off, I was doing
better.
I was doing all wing recipes, and I just didn't want to be sitting there making fried wings and having to eat them all the time. So I went to bacon. So a lot of my recipes are baked, but I got them in playlists. If you're looking for fried, you can go to fried, um, the fried wings. What was your second question again?
No, just the air fryer
Oh, the
itself.
air fryer.
Do
Air
you have
fryer.
you have you tried using that at all?
Yes, I have some. I got a playlist for air fryer recipes too.
Well, how
When I
did you
first got
find that? How did you find that? I mean, was it something to your liking, or you just, it was okay?
at first, I was kind of on the fence with it. I'm like, air fry. If I want something fried, I want it fried. I don't want air fried. It's almost like another version of microwave. But as I got into doing recipes in the air fryer, I like it. I love it.
Oh, okay.
It's really a go-to, especially if you're looking for something to do some wings real quick. The air fry, and it doesn't dry it out. That's one thing I like about it. They still come out juicy and crispy.
Nice. That was all of my questions, Uncle Stu. I'm going to leave I'm going to go in the back again, and then
Okay.
I will holler at you all later. But it's been a pleasure, sir, and I wish you much success.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Wally asks, you only do chicken, turkey, or both?
I just do chicken. People ask me about doing turkey wings, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like those big wings, man. I just can't eat them. I can't eat them.
Is there any more questions from the chat?
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Stu. I'm also going to drop off. Thank
Okay.
you, All Wings Everything. Definitely going to check out the playlist. I do have one question. So when you make your wife mad, what's a good I'm a sorry dish or meal you can cook her when you make her mad? I just made my wife mad last night, so I might have to cook something tonight. So
Man,
any recipes would be appreciated.
she likes honey garlic buffalo. Matter of fact, I haven't made those wings since I started the channel, and we used to have that flavor in our restaurant. But she loves that. But be honest with you, anything I cook, she's okay with.
All right, so I'm gonna
She
I'm
just
gonna
likes
make
me to
that
cook.
I'm gonna make that tonight for her, and if it works out well, I'll leave a comment. I'm like, yo, this is the best makeup meal you can do. I'll leave you a comment. All right, take care.
You
All right,
too.
we're excited. And my girl Natasha Vincent says, offering towards Vaughn's Chicken Wing Fund. $10. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to tell you, I really enjoyed you dropped so much knowledge that I hope people really, look at this video, especially what I call higher level thinking, higher level business. I'll definitely be reaching back out to you in the back channel because, like I said, my Patreon is going to be more devoted to really educating people about business and having a business mindset. Is going to be more towards time management, how to be productive with your time. I did a poll, so I want to deal with that. I'm also going to both on and below. When I say below, both on the platform of YouTube as well as on the Patreon. I'm trying to teach people to have even a different mindset, to really understand the mindset of business and politics and higher level thinking. Again, going back to that image. I want us to understand what's really being said, either about us or even for us. We really need to get a better deep dive into certain conversations. When you talk about, regulations, that's a political buzzword, but everybody don't really understand what regulations are, what they do, and sometimes we might have government in too many things that's also stagnating the economy.
Right.
People don't understand taxes. Everybody think that the rich is going to get taxed, and they don't realize people who understand money don't get taxed. That's the whole reason of doing business, is to decrease your taxes. So when we fighting for all these programs, it's the middle class getting taxed. And I really need to be able to teach that. Sometimes you can't just teach it as a whole. You got to teach it in parts, and to get people to not only understand it academically, but to see it through others.
Right.
And to really understand it. And that's the jewels that I'm dropping on Patreon. So I'm saying, heck, I'm connecting with the best of the best. You're only spending $10 to get this knowledge.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you the jewels cheap and give you people who's just not coming from a notebook or a book or I got a degree in business management. No, these are people who's actually doing the work.
Right.
And have the results where, okay, you got 100,000 people on your platform, but you only making $1,000 a month because you don't understand the business side and understanding so much about what's going on YouTube. So I really, if nobody else want to come up, again, I'll definitely be hitting you up in the back channel. Just to every once in a while come into the Patreon and maybe teach on a certain subject to my Patreon members.
I have no problem doing that. I really, no problem.
Excellent. Because I really think that that's not even a think, it's a no. I'm studying my people, people that are devoted to me on this platform, devoted to what they want to learn, what they're really hungering for, not what I think they need. What do they feel they need, and giving them that. But at the same time, I want to give them game. I want to show them you could be successful. I don't care how you started. I don't care if you started out with one mama and one leg. You can be successful. I don't care what. I'm gonna just put it out there. I don't care what white folk doing. You can be successful regardless of what's going on racially. You can be successful regardless if you got a woman. You can be that successful man without a woman. I'm not going to allow all men to have the narrative of, oh, well, for every successful black man, there's a woman. No, I'm going to teach you how to be successful and have that success and understand. Don't date nobody that ain't got just as much to lose as you do.
Right.
That's what I need my brothers to understand. You know, you got something to lose and you out here dating a woman that ain't got nothing to lose. Guess what? That's not a win-win situation.
Right. Right.
But if you date a woman that got something to lose, you got something to lose. That's a winning combination.
Right. And truth is, as a man, you should be successful before you even get the woman.
Say that one more time. I don't think the brothers heard you in the back. Say it one more
Yeah.
time.
You should be successful before you even get the woman. You know, you should be working on and building your success before you even get the woman. Then once you get it, then you should go after the woman. You know.
Talk about what does it look like for you? If because we got so many different false images of what success looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If you could tell somebody, tell a 20-year-old, tell a 30-year-old, what does success really look like? How do you know when you can say, I am successful? Is it because you got a bunch of houses, bunch of cars, X amount of money in the bank? Because ever since Kevin Samuels said 6 figures, it's like every man and everywhere, all over these YouTube tree, got 6 figures.
Right. Right. Um, I think success is. I think it varies from person to person, but I also think there is a certain standard, you know, and I don't believe when people are, well, success for me doesn't mean having money. No, you need money. I don't care what you say. You need money. You need a
Right.
certain amount of it to make sure you're living. But I think for me, success means that that I'm able to provide for my family in a way where, you know, my wife and my daughter doesn't have to, you know, want for anything. That a I have my business set up, my businesses or business set up where I'm able to um, profit passively, monthly. Um, Things like that is I consider a success to me. Now, what that number is, you know, it depends on, because just because, you know, like you say, Kevin says 6 figures, but you know, if you're living somewhere where the cost of living is not 6 figures, I mean, well, you don't really need 6 figures, then you know you don't need 6 figures
Right.
to live, you know. But you know, but there is a certain comfort level I think that everyone should have and should be that they should define as success. So if you have an emergency, you shouldn't be penny pinching worrying about how you're going to get things paid for. You should have this comfort level financially that you're able to take care of anything that comes up or anything that your family needs. So to me, that's success.
Awesome. Wally asks, I just looked at your website not too long ago. Wanted to know, have you ever or in the progress of making wings season?
So one of the things that I'm working on, that I will be working on this year, is a seasoning. I am working on putting my own seasoning together and putting that out. And also, I'm looking uh, to create a wing product where I can, you know, put it in the frozen food section, so you can have, you know, you can go and you can get your barbecue wings, your buffalo wings, and then be pre-packaged, pre-cooked. And the only thing you got to do is just take it out of the bag and add them and put them in the oven and heat them up. So that's what I'm looking to do. That's more of a long-term vision for me. But short term, it is my the seasoning. I want to do that this year. I also have I dropped the ebook last year in July, so I've got 2 more that I'm gonna release this year. I'm gonna release my Wing King recipe wing book. I'll call it the Wing King. And I also, if you watch any of my channel, I always talk about lemon pepper. I think I ain't gonna say I think, I know I make the best lemon pepper wings on the planet.
That's the way you're
So,
supposed to say
uh,
it.
so if whoever lemon pepper you've been eating prior to this, go check out my lemon pepper. You won't eat nobody other lemon pepper wings. I'm telling you. And I got a book that's called Respect the Lemon Pepper. So it's gonna be full of recipes that uses lemon pepper seasoning. I'm telling you, man, it's awesome too. It's awesome.
That is good. That is good. Well, I don't see anyone else. Anybody else got any more questions? Because Wally had to make sure I missed one, but I got it now. I don't see any more cues in the chat. Idea salad sauce to Joshua says salad sauce to the chefs and hotel chains for the tourists who miss their Western food options.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Definitely look into that too. Great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. To answer your question, boy, you missed a whole good hour and a half stream. We talked everything about chicken wings to business, international business. So that was the convo. All right. Well, listen, I enjoyed this conversation. What you gave, like I said, for me, I'm going to just be doing the repeat, rewind, taking notes. You know, as my boy always say, y'all better start taking notes, you know, and I gathered a whole lot of information. So you just helped me to definitely level up this platform and know that I'm kind of going in the right direction. So I really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you inviting me on. It's really one of the first times I actually, did a live like this. So I really thank you for inviting me to, give me exposure on your platform, man. I really, really appreciate it. And anytime you need me, brother, just give me a call, hit me up. You already know, I'm there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're going to, let me get to this one little file. And we has had an awesome.
This is Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. Emancipate
Just
your
hang
mind.
out in the back channel for me.
All right.
Don't drop off. Salute to everyone. Thank y'all. And be on the lookout. Be definitely dropping some more video by tomorrow. Peace.